Hey guys, and welcome to episode 55 of How I Made My First $1 Million. Today we are looking at the numbers from April 1st, 2025. So let's dive in. We begin, as usual, with the balance sheet. Assets coming in at 120,000. Lovely. That's up almost 3,000 from last month. Liabilities unchanged at 0, and of course net worth same as the assets. So what happened here? Cash down a little bit, about $3,000. Gold and silver up collectively. I did not buy any more of them. That is just price appreciation. So it's been a pretty good month for both of those metals. Bitcoin, crypto. I think Bitcoin was down, but I bought enough Bitcoin that it looks like the balance went up. I mean, the balance did go up, measured in dollars and measured in Bitcoin. But I can't remember how the price changed, by what amount. Anyways, Kiva went up because I loaned a bunch more. So that balance is going to keep growing. Things might change. When I get to the update section, I'll let you know. Things might be changing, man. Okay. It's not that big a deal, but it's just funny. All right. Let's look at the chart. Got another data point, 120,000. Yes, April of 2025. Wonderful. And April of 2022 was higher. Okay, so 3 years ago. So in 3 years, we've made no progress. Okay, that's hilarious. We're down a little bit. We're down like 10%, actually. Yeah, surprisingly close to exactly 10%. But things are a lot different. Things are a lot healthier. I have a job. Stable source of income and probably more units of assets. Yeah, more ounces, more coins, more that kind of stuff, and better prospects. I've also learned a lot in the last 3 years. Anyways, things are good. Let's keep rolling. Income statement. All right, what happened here? Revenues are back to what we would expect every month. That's basically my salary. This was a bonus last month, or I guess this amount, 16,884 was a bonus. Expenses significantly lower, but what happened? Well, so how much lower? Let me see. Okay, 7,500 less. Yeah, and that's 9,000 less right there. Okay, so pretty much investing less because I didn't have that bonus. Otherwise, things are similar, significantly less on travel, but way more on loans. So loans, $2,000. Loans makes up the difference of these. Yeah, that's basically the same on net. So yeah, it's just investments. Otherwise, nothing too significant. I mean, this is all nickels and dimes. It's not even worth going into, if I'm being honest. So that's the income statement. Cash flows. Positive operating cash flow. That's good. Living within my means. Investing, so yeah, only spent $5,000 on Bitcoin instead of 14. Fine. And we had some financing activity. So I think I mentioned before that I actually did lend a little bit on Kiva at the end of February, but it didn't hit until March. So that's right here. So that February transaction plus the March transaction, that's both compiled here. And that's also just net. So if I re-lent any funds that were already in my Kiva account, that doesn't show up here. So this in total would be like 3,000 of lending and 600 of donations. So yeah, the 600 of donations I make sure are here, but then there's an extra like $1,015 that isn't accounted for. Anyways, I'm sure most people aren't bothered by that. Investments, operating cash flow. So that's employment. So here's purchases. Okay, so this is an interesting question. Why did I spend $1,000, $1,500, $1,400 less on purchases? I suspect that is because I'm putting the majority of my purchases on a credit card and I'm not recognizing those transactions when I make them. I'm only recognizing those transactions once the cash moves. So I'm not doing it on an accrual basis. I'm doing it on a cash basis, if you have any knowledge of accounting. So, yeah. So anyways, you could imagine that I have roughly $1,400, let's say, sitting on an account that on the credit card that I'm going to pay off, in the next 30 days. So I actually have that as a negative cash position. So if we look at the balance sheet, if we look at cash, this 4,500, I actually have more than that in my bank account, or I did, April 1st. And then I just subtract whatever the outstanding balance is on my credit card, because I know all that cash is going to flow out in the next 30 days. So I reflect that credit card as a negative cash balance, not a liability. So I could reflect it as a liability, but since it's going out in 30 days, I think of it as a cash equivalent. If I was carrying a balance on my credit card, I would put it here as a liability. Okay. I don't know if we're getting too far into the weeds here or if that is interesting to you guys, but either way, we are done with the cash flow statement. The updates. What happened? Well, I lent $1,000 on Kiva in March and $2,000 in February to make up for January. And the plan is to lend $1,000 a month for 2025. But I just found out like moments ago, I got after typing out this list, I got an email from my accountant with my 2024 federal tax return, the draft. And I just found out I owe a lot of thousands of dollars in taxes, like a lot. So that's annoying, and that may make me change my mind on lending on Kiva. So anyway, the dollars are going to have to come from somewhere, and I'm not selling gold, silver, or Bitcoin to pay those taxes. And I could do it on a payment plan, on a monthly payment plan. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. So that tax amount isn't even going to be finalized for another 2 weeks. I mean, it's also not going to change. It might change by like $10. It's not going to change by thousands. So anyways, my plan is to lend $1,000 on Kiva every month, but that could change. I have not taken any action with the brokerage account. However, as my schedule clears in May, I'm going to take an options course online, learn about options, and that's the intention. So right now I just have $100 sitting in that brokerage account, but in my mind it doesn't exist. I have a Bitcoin Roth IRA that I created a month or so ago. I have still not yet funded it, but my plan is to contribute $7,000 before April 15th. But yeah, so now I got to find $7,000 to put there, and I have to find a lot of thousand to pay taxes. We'll see. Not sure. All right. Relationship with body. I give myself a 4 out of 10, so below average. I've had a lot of low back pain. I suspect it is work-related stress. It's not like I lifted something really heavy and pulled something. It's just like a dull ache that's there almost all the time. And I notice like when I change my thoughts, I can change the back pain. And sometimes I can't help it but dwell on work-related matters, and then the pain is really intense. So I think it's in my head. Anyways, got some other things here you can read if you so desire. Relationship with others, 7.5 out of 10. So very good. Had a handful of random phone calls with family and friends throughout the month. I decided at the beginning of the month that if I started thinking about someone in my life, friend or family member, if I had time, I would just pick up the phone and call them. And that was a really cool experiment. So I had at least a handful, I don't know, 5-10 phone calls maybe. Not everyone answered, and sometimes we connected later. But it was really great. A great experiment and a great experience. Some of you may even be watching this video. So if I talked to you in the last month, that was wonderful. Okay, my mom also came to visit for 3 days. Always great to see her. And the vast majority of my time, like, I'm just working, thinking about work. I had a lot of PR appearances. Those are not very time consuming relative to all the other tasks. But it has been a busy month. And as gold and silver do well, I have more work to do, basically. I have more PR appearances because people actually want to talk to somebody who knows about gold and silver. And I have more videos to make for the channel. I have more things to research, more things to put together. So yeah, there's just a lot of work. But that's the nature of it. Relationship with self. For 17 days in the month of March, I decided to wake up at 4:30 a.m., including weekends. And that's something I did before for 21 days in my 20s. Probably was 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. And that was great. It was great the first time, and it was great the most recent time. Yeah, it's just like when you just wake up and just start working that early, there's no distractions, and you can just very easily focus on whatever is the most important task, and you just do it. You just do the most important task. It doesn't really matter how hard it is, or you just start working. So that's kind of great. But it was also tricky to go to bed at 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. because of just life. So I found myself napping during the day, and that's not terrible on its own, but the whole thing just felt unsustainable in the long term. So I gave up on that, and now I'm waking up at 6:30 every day and going to bed around 10:30 and not napping. So anyways, still creating that 6-part YouTube series for work. We began the animations this past month, and we've gone through many episode drafts. The producer, editor is putting in a ton of work on that. I'm putting in a bunch of work on it. So it's good. It's good. Still don't know when we're going to release it. Probably the last week of May or in June. And we don't know if we're going to release it, one episode a week for 6 weeks, or all of them at once, or 2 per week for 3 weeks, or 3 per week for 2 weeks. I mean, there's a lot of ways we could do it. We still don't know how we're going to release it yet. But we are targeting around Memorial Day, plus or minus a couple weeks. Not because of Memorial Day, that's just when it's going to be done. So anyways, also I read The Space Within by Michael Neill 2 times in the past month. It's a very short book. It's a very easy read. And I've read it before plenty of times. I forget how many, but it's got so many good reminders in there. It's like we live in a world of our thinking, and you're only one thought away from like inner peace. Like just any thought you have about how stressful the world is or what you need to do, you don't have to think that thought. You could just let go of that thought and have a different thought, like, hey, everything's great. Yeah, I'm busy. Yeah, I have a lot of things on the calendar. Yeah, I have money problems, or I have this or that or whatever. But you can just think differently about it. I mean, it's kind of amazing. It's true. It takes practice. All right, finally, how am I thinking? How am I feeling? What am I doing? I'm thinking that health is so important, and I think my back pain is in my head, as I mentioned earlier. We live in a world of thought. And if that's true, I think it is, then your thoughts are so important, because your thoughts affect your health, your biological health, but also your financial health, your relationship health, just anything, spiritual health, you name it. So your thoughts are so important. And just like, even though I know that, or at least I believe that doesn't mean I can just all of a sudden have perfect awareness of all my thoughts and be able to adopt good ones and let go of bad ones, adopt empowering beliefs and let go of limiting beliefs. I don't know. Some of them you got to access, or at least I think you do. Maybe I should let go of that thought. Maybe there is no difficulty in uncovering your thoughts. Maybe they're just right there. Anyways, okay, final round of filming for the YouTube series is this weekend, so in just a couple days, which is partly why I'm cramming to get this video out of the way well in advance. And my thoughts around that are creating the back pain, I think. I think that's what's going on. I'm stressing about the filming and then everything that happens after that and wanting it to be really good. And I think that's causing pain. I think I'm just carrying it in my back. So trying to let go of that. Anyways, thank you all for watching. That's all I have for this month. I will see you next month.